All right, looks like we're good.
We're up.
Think so.
All right, I'm gonna tweet it. This meeting is being live streamed. Yep. Okay, I just tweeted out our link.
I'm gonna record and hit record in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of the Chalk Talk podcast. I am your host, Ken Doolittle, joined as always by happier this week resident Packers fan, Michael Burke. Burke, we got a lot of NFL to get to. You got some college dues to atone for. But first, I have a little trivia question for you to start tonight's episode.
Oh boy.
I lean on, let's say, plus 650 odds that you know the answer to this question.
Well, let's
You know
shoot.
Jaylen Brown, right? The Celtics player?
Yes.
Who is Jaylen Brown's current agent? And I'll give you a hint that it's also Aaron Donald's current agent.
It's not Jay-Z, is it?
It's not Jay-Z, but you're closer than you think.
I don't know how many more guesses I could get. It's not. Oh, I'm trying to think what other rapper agent. It's not Drake.
Nope, but you're close. Kanye West.
Ay.
Donda. Jaylen Brown recently signs with Donda, also Aaron Donald's agent. Thought that was interesting, especially as I'm looking at the NBA television contract coming up. So all these contracts are going to increase. And I didn't know that till today. So figured we'd bring it up. So the plus 700 doesn't pay on that. You know what else? What does pay are NFL picks. Our NFL picks paid big time this weekend, my friend. You were 3-0 on your locks. Good job by you. I was 2-1 on my locks. Feel like I got robbed by the Rams, but that's my own fault. And the full slate that I posted my entire card for Sunday, 11-4. So we'll take that every week, every day. 11-4 is super profitable. I don't know, man. I feel like we nailed this weekend. Week 2 is for fools. Week 1 is for fools. But let's not be fooled. Let's keep this streak going, right? I think we're okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely off to a better start this year than last year. So very happy on that side of things. So looking to continue this good mojo the rest of the way.
Yeah. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about week 3 lines. There's some really interesting lines out there. There's some good ones, some bad ones. Let's start with our, and we're not going to give our locks yet because we don't have those locked in. But we're going to give our early leans. We're going to go over a couple lines we like, a couple plays that we want to go over. Let's start with the Thursday night game, my friend. We have been spoiled with 2 excellent Thursday night games to start the season. We had Bills Rams in week 1. And then last week we had Chiefs Chargers. This week we are not as lucky as we have Steelers at Browns, Papa Mitch Trubisky at Jacoby Brissett. Have you seen the line on this game?
Yeah, I actually took a look at it a little while ago. I know it's kind of been fluctuating a little bit, but last I saw it, it was currently at Browns minus 4.5.
4.5. So 4.5 is the current line. It was up to 5. And it actually opened at Browns minus 3. The total is at 38.5. And I have a feeling we're getting some Steelers money here because that's about minus 118 to take them 4.5. We'll start here. Do you have a lean in the game, side or total?
I have a lean on the spread.
You do? Okay, I do as well. And I'm interested to see what your side is. So let's see if we match up. Go ahead.
So right now I'm going to, in a rivalry game, Browns Steelers, bitter rivals, hate each other. I don't think the Steelers are very good. They kind of came down to earth after that week 1 upset of Cincinnati. I think they're in a little bit over their head. I think the Browns are going to cover the spread currently at 4.5.
Oh, all right.
And I'm going to stick to that going into tomorrow night, barring any significant injury news that we don't know of that will fluctuate the spread. But right now I'm leaning Browns minus 4.5. Not an official pick, not an official lock for the record, just a lean.
Okay. Fair enough. So I have an interesting proposition on this one as well. I think that the Browns should cover this one. But I can't do it. I can't lay the points with Jacoby Brissett. So I haven't made a significant pick yet, but last week my thing was don't put Jacoby Brissett in a tease. Do not put Jacoby Brissett in a tease. They were laying 6 to the Jets. They did not cover. All right. They did not even win the game. So my logic was sound. I put them in a 10-point tease and got them to +3, and that covered. But if I couldn't tease them last week, I can't tease them this week. I think we just lost my counterpart, Burke. So hopefully he's coming back soon, but that's all right. I'm talking about my pick anyway. So Brown Steelers tomorrow night. I'm not taking the Browns. I don't want to take the Steelers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Browns. I'm going to take the Steelers probably if that number gets to 5 or 5.5, because I just think that's too many points. So our official Thursday night pick for me, and again, subject to change, but probably not. I'm going to take the points with the Steelers at 5 or 5.5. I'm also going to go on the total of 38.5. I'm going to go over. So I know that's kind of contradictory. He's taking a short dog plus the over, but I think this game ends up somewhere around 24-21. Maybe the Steelers edge it out and it's 21-20 or something. I think we end up around a 40-43 total. I think it's close enough that the Steelers hang in there. I'm going with a same game parlay as well. I tweeted this out on the account earlier, but I think Chubb gets a lot of rushing yards, especially at home. I think if the Steelers are going to keep up, we have to do Papa Mitch over his passing yardage, and he's got to throw to somebody. So we're going to go Deontay Johnson over 50 or 60 yards. So look for that play for me tomorrow. That's what I'll be doing tomorrow night, because honestly, this game sucks, and we want to make sure that it's fun for us to watch at least. All right. So that's our Thursday night pick, trying to make that game a little interesting. While we wait for Burke to get back on the card here, I'm going to talk about another game that I have a strong lean on, and that's the Chiefs at the Colts. So this current spread on this game is 6.5. Kansas City's favored by 6.5. And I can't believe this hasn't moved to 7, because I think the Chiefs should blow through that 7. I think this should be 7.5, or even probably not 8, but I think this should be over a touchdown for the Chiefs. I expect some more Colts money to come in at this point, though. If it hasn't moved already, it's probably not going to move again. So you might want to wait. You might get the Chiefs at 6, maybe 5.5, but we probably don't stray too far from there. But a couple things on this game. We're taking the Chiefs end of this. There's no way I'm touching the Colts in this game. A couple of reasons why. Number one, Indianapolis is historically an awful first quarter of the season team. They're showing that this year. They're 0-1-1. They tied with the Texans, and then they lost to the Jags. So that's 2 games that they probably should have won. Last year they got off to a slow start. The year before that they got off to a slow start in the first 6. So I can't bet on them in the first month of the season. The only edge that they have is they haven't played at home yet. So this is their first home game. And that could be worth something. But again, if you're getting this under a touchdown, or especially if you're getting this at 6, which is a key number, I'm not taking that home field into advantage. I think Chiefs fans travel, and I don't think the Colts have like a huge advantage. If anything, it's turf, right? And that probably favors the Chiefs as well, because they're just faster and they're better. They're more explosive. The next reason I'm taking the Chiefs, Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator or the coach for the Colts, he used to be the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. So Mahomes has played him a lot in those division games. He's thrown 17 touchdowns and 2 interceptions against Gus Bradley defenses. That's enough on its own for me to take Mahomes over just about anybody, that trend. But I especially like it here when the Colts have shown a very high tolerance for not changing their strategy, regardless of how good or bad the strategy is. They stick to it. And I think the strategy is going to be bad, and I think they're going to stick to it. Lastly, the Colts are allowing a 72% completion rate so far this season, which is second worst. The 2 quarterbacks that they have played, Davis Mills and Trevor Lawrence. So 2 of the bottom tier quarterbacks in the league have put up the second best completion percentage. You're telling me Mahomes isn't going to compound that? I don't know if Michael Pittman is playing, but he's the only receiver on that team. John Taylor is good, but he is merely a running back. I cannot see any reason to take the Colts here. I think the Chiefs at 6 or 6.5 is an excellent value play. My partner has decided to join me. Burke, your internet is back. Did you hear any of that? And what do you think about taking the Chiefs?
I looked at that line. I kind of like it, but my lean, I think, is going to be under 50.5 there.
Yeah, I could see that too, especially so 51 is the key number, right? And it won't go up to that probably. But 50.5 is a lot, especially for a Colts team that can't really score. So that does seem pretty high to me. Why is that so high? I guess the Chiefs haven't scored a lot this year either. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know it's a road game for them, so I don't anticipate them scoring like they do at home. I don't think the Colts are very good either. And if they're down Pittman again this week, which we're still not sure if he's going to play or not, right now he's questionable, I think. I don't think the Colts can score with the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are going to be playing keep away at the end of this game because they're going to be up by a couple touchdowns and shortening the game by running the clock.
Yeah, I could agree with that. So I would lean to the under 50.5. And I would definitely take Kansas City laying 6 or 6.5. That's probably going to be one of my locks of the week. I feel very strongly about that game. You want to move to your first lean of the week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much you got into this all. Going live obviously has some of its technical difficulties sometimes, but we're back at it. I'm looking actually at this Monday night game with the New York Giants against Dallas. I love the Giants in this spot at home. I think they're playing very well. I think Saquon's going to have a big game. I don't think Dallas is as strong as we think they are. I know they had a big win last week against the Bengals, but I think the Giants are playing well enough at home where they can secure that 1.5 line and win by at least 3.
So I did look long and hard at this game when it opened, and this line opened at Dallas +3. And I was ready to throw the hammer on Dallas +3. That was far too many points for that team to be getting in a primetime division game. At 1.5, it's not quite as tempting. But if I'm going either way on this one, I'm going on Dallas because I still think they're the best team. You're going to shit on me because of the Eagles. They're better than the Eagles offensively with Dak. Cooper Rush is like a drop off from Dak, but I mean, he beat the Bengals last week, right? And they're a train wreck. So that's a different story. I don't think I can touch this one at 1.5. If you like the Giants to win the game, I understand that. What if the spread was 3? Are you still leaning the same way? Because that's where it opened.
I know it's going to be close. I think 3 is the better line for this game, quite frankly, where you're going to see a more realistic push.
Better line for the Cowboys.
Of course it is. But I don't know. It would be Cooper Rush on the road against a rival in a relatively hostile environment. The Giants haven't been over 500 in a very long time. So there's optimism with that organization right now. Saquon, one of our predictions in fantasy this year. He's gotten off to a great start, one of the top running backs in the league.
Yep.
From a scoring standpoint in that way. I think he's going to have a monster game in prime time. Take the pressure off of Daniel Jones having to do it all by himself. So I think anything 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we lost Burke again. I think his all I heard about when I was visiting Burke last week is how he pays for the highest speed internet, and now we've lost him twice in the same live podcast. So I'll finish his thought. He was saying, obviously the Giants have a good run game. They're at home, so the spotlight is easier to bear when you have a good run game and you're the home team in this rivalry game. With a total of 39.5 for this one, it's one of the lowest ones on the board. I don't know that this game goes over or under either way. I could see it being a 10-7 game, or I could see it being, a 27-21 kind of game. So I'm laying off the total. And I'm taking the Cowboys, but I'm not taking them yet at 1.5. I want to see it get to at least 2, maybe 3. That's one of those that we wish that we got at the open. And that's what I was saying on my live feed on the Twitter a couple weeks ago, was some of these games are really, really valuable on the Sunday nights before, like week 2 Sunday night is when you look for week 3. That's when this game opened at Dallas +3. That's the line I would have liked to have taken. At 1.5, I'm probably not going either way. So Burke likes the Giants here. I'm kind of off this one. Moving on to my next lean, I'm looking at the Bucks and the Cowboys game. Or I'm sorry, the Bucks and the Packers. So it's Packers at Bucks. The Bucks are favored by 1.5, and this one has stayed relatively solid. I bet we see this one around Bucks -1 by the time that this kicks off. So Vegas says that these are relatively even teams. since the Bucs are home, they're saying that the Packers are a little better team, so they're not giving them the full 3 points that the home team usually gets. Before I tell you which way I'm leaning, some things that I'm looking at as far as, how do I want to view this game? Because this is, to me, one of the best games of the weekend. The Tampa Bay defense is number 1 against the pass. And again, we're only through 2 weeks, but the Tampa Bay defense is number 1 against the pass and number 2 overall. But they've played the second easiest offensive schedule. The Packers, okay, on offense, they've played the second easiest schedule of defense. So both of these teams' strong suits have played a relatively easy first couple weeks. Can we take anything from that? I don't know. So, we might want to throw out the first week for Green Bay. We might want to throw out the first week for Tampa. They didn't look so hot, but neither did Dallas, right? So the other things that I'm looking at, which has kind of led me to, if we're throwing out the first 2 games results, what can we take away from those first 2 games? What we can take away is that the Bucs are running on early downs more than any other team in the league. And that sucks. So they have the highest third down rate of the league, which means they get into third downs more than any other team. That's not typical from a Brady-led team. That scares me way off the Bucs. The Packers, however, are first in avoiding third downs. So yeah, they run way too much too, and they're awful at play calling. And Rodgers does not have the command of the field that he used to have, but they are not getting into third downs. And if you're not getting into third downs, this is a huge advantage. This is something we looked at with the Chargers last year. They were excellent at avoiding third downs. Third down is the new fourth down. Okay. You have to avoid it. So with that being said, with the game total being low at 41.5, I'm thinking there's not going to be a lot of points. And that's crazy that the Rodgers Brady game is at 41.5. My first instinct is to say the Packers are an excellent teaser leg. If you get them past plus 7.5, I don't think there's any way that leg loses. So let's throw that in some teases. I'm also taking them at plus 1.5. So I'm taking the Packers in this game, despite the fact that I don't think they're very good, despite the fact that they're on the road. I don't trust Tampa Bay. So I'm taking the Packers plus 1.5. That will make my counterpart very happy if him and his super expensive internet that's crapped out twice already can hear me. What do you think about me taking your team?
I appreciate that. I love it there. I'm actually leaning the under in this situation. I think it's going to be
under 41.5.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I think it's such an odd number for a Brady Rodgers matchup, which
I can't do it.
It's just, I just think the defenses are going to come to play. They're both quality defenses. And I think both teams are going to try and shorten the game, not let either quarterback kind of get on a roll. So I am leaning the under in this situation, but I rarely take and bet on Packers games. I don't like to. Same way with Penn State football. I do not like to bet on the teams I root for just because I have a biased interest in the game, which could affect definitely how you're thinking of which way the game's going to fall. But right now, if I had to make a pick, I'm going to be leaning under.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I'll put it this way. I'm not going to bet the over because neither of those offenses are like really clicking and really talented at this point, especially if Mike Evans is out. But I just can't take the under on a Brady Rodgers thing. I want to watch that game and kind of, enjoy it, I guess. But I'm going to take the Packers. I think that's going to be one of my picks. I think they cover this 1.5. They might even win the game outright. But that's my next lean. So how about you give your next lean before we lose you again?
All right. Let's see.
You're all frazzled now.
I'm just hoping I can stay on connection long enough to make a pick. I can't wait to hear the playback of this audio, just to see where I cut out. It's going to be interesting to see. Kind of a good thing we're not going to be uploading this one to Spotify. It's going to be very choppy and stuff like that.
That's all right. We're pros. We do this live. We adapt. We're able to adapt.
Yeah, we're learning on the fly. And my next lean, we're going to continue to ride this Bills Mafia train for as long as we can. And I'm going to take them on the road in Miami at -6.
It's all the way up to 6, huh? Wow. So do you know what this line opened at?
Nope.
4.5. So we are up 1.5 points on the Bills in just under a day or 2 days, which is probably right? Like I guess this is a Bills or stay away game, right? Who's taking the Dolphins? Who's taking anybody plus points against the Bills?
I'll tell you one person that would probably take the Dolphins in this scenario.
Our pal Commissioner Overlord Gleason.
Yep, that would be him.
Yeah. So, and he's a Dolphins fan. So you want to talk about the emotion, right? That's probably what's leading. I get the Dolphins pick in this spot because they've looked pretty good, especially like Tua was unreal last week. I would like to see it again from Tua. Pardon me, I know he had an excellent game. Can I see it 2 weeks instead of one before I'm like sold on the Tua train?
I'd like to see it against a better quality defense too, like the Buffalo Bills. See what happens.
Well, that too, that Ravens secondary is not anything to write home about. And the Bills defense has been everywhere the first 2 weeks. They've beaten the Super Bowl champ and the number one seed in the AFC from last year, like 71-17 or something outrageous. Right?
I would consider a prop bet if you could take it on Von Miller over sacks on Tua.
So you can. I don't think they have it out yet. Yeah, they don't have any player props out yet, but we can take a look at that. What's the prop going to be? A half or one even, probably?
Probably one even.
Yeah, probably one even. He could definitely get there, and he probably will get there at least once for half a sack or one. So it's probably a good bet. I agree with you taking the Bills in this instance. I think that this is maybe another good leg of a teaser to take the Bills at 6 down to the money line. Division game on the road. I think it's a 1:00 game, right? Yeah. So that kind of benefits Miami.
Miami on the road is always a strange place to play for heavy favorites.
In Miami, you mean, right?
Yeah. Tom Brady always had his issues when he was in New England playing in Miami. Just, you could never figure out why, but hopefully Josh Allen doesn't fall into the same boat in this situation.
Well, and I don't think he will. It's just, strangely enough, I'd like to see the weather forecast for this one. Miami at 1:00 on a September Sunday. If it's reaching, and I don't know, if it's reaching 100, if it's super hot, maybe that benefits the Dolphins, who are just probably better athletes with Ty and Jalen and Tua. I don't know, but that's something I might take a look at before betting this game.
Yeah, if it's going to pouring rain too, hammer the Bills. Josh Allen keepers all day long.
Well, and that's maybe when we look at the total, right? If it is going to be crappy weather, the total's 52.5. And that's probably baked into the fact that the Bills are going to score 30 points. So if you think the Dolphins can keep up, maybe your better bet instead of the plus 6.5 is maybe the over. Actually, it's 6.5 now, Burke, on FanDuel. Holy crap, 6.5. We're climbing.
Yeah, we are.
This one might get to 7.
Yeah, a lot of love here for the Bills. So,
well, and you heard it here first. You heard it here a couple months ago on Chalk Talk. We took them to win the Super Bowl at plus 650 and plus 600. Do you know what they are these days, Burke? They're down to 4-1.
Down to 4-1.
I have never seen Super Bowl odds move this much in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but the Bills have done everything in their power to be able to shift those down. They've smacked 2 opponents. I don't think they've played their best football yet outside of the Allen Diggs
probably
connection.
Right.
I don't think they played great dominating football. I've seen better offenses, but they're blowing teams out, so they're doing something right.
Yeah, and that's why the line is getting to 7.
Which is scary to see and probably not a good sign for the rest of the league this year.
That's why this line is getting to 7, because they've not only been winning, they've been destroying teams. I know a lot of people, a lot of sharps that were on the Titans plus 10 the other night. It actually got up to plus 14.5 after they scored the first touchdown. You can't be taking that line. You could not take the Titans plus 10. I didn't understand it.
Didn't even come close to being in the realm of a possibility. I wish I would have done the Bills. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is our last chance to get them at a line below 10. I don't know their upcoming schedule, but maybe we can get them at 6.5. All right. We're going to do some rapid fire here, and you can elaborate if you have any strong leans. I'm going to go through some game lines. You tell me which side you like, and then I'll chime in with my side. All right. Ravens at Patriots. Ravens by 2.5. This is down from 3.
Yeah. I think I'm going to lean the Patriots here. I think this is going to be a close game.
Wow. Okay.
I really do.
I would probably lean Ravens just because the Patriots offense hasn't looked that good. And I'm pretty sure the Ravens offense is going to continue.
Pats are the home team, correct?
It's in New England. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm leaning the Pats with the points.
Okay. I would lean Ravens here just because Lamar has looked so good and I don't think he'll be stopped. Another division game, Saints at Panthers, Panthers catching 3 at home.
Again, I actually don't have this on my long list of items. I don't like this game at all. I don't trust the Saints. I don't trust the Panthers. So it's just a matter of who I trust a little bit more. So
You're going to leave us in suspense then? Who do we trust more? Or you don't want to give a pick at all?
I don't even want to give a pick.
All right. I'll give mine. I like the Panthers catching 3 in this spot. I actually like that a lot, especially with a low total. Give me the Panthers +3. Vikes at home against the Lions laying 5.5.
Again, another game that I don't even have on my list. I had 10 games written down, and these last two aren't either of any of
Division
them.
games, man. You got to be careful betting division games, right?
Yeah, who's the home team in this situation? I didn't. The Vikings are the home team.
Vikings at home laying 5.5 to the Lions.
I think I like the Vikings here. I think they win this game by a touchdown just because they're at home. It's not a primetime game, so expecting big numbers from Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. And the Lions' first road game going to be a hostile environment. I think that the Vikings at least win by a touchdown.
That's another good teaser leg. Perhaps take the Vikings down to -0.5 or +0.5. I like the Vikes too. Eagles at Washington football team catching 6.5 at home.
Good. I like the under in this situation at 47.5.
Under 47.5.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't hate that either. I'm very inclined to take the football team in this game. Eagles are somewhat fraudulent. Am I dumb for saying that? Maybe I'll look dumb in a month, but I don't buy it yet. I think catching almost a touchdown. I hate betting on Carson Wentz. I hate it. I'm going to hate myself for it at like 2 p.m. on Sunday, I'm sure. 6.5 just seems like too much. So that lines up with your bet of the under. If I'm thinking they're going to stay within 7, I like that.
I'd still put money on Carson Wentz total interceptions this game. Prop bet.
It's going to be a half, right? Yeah, I don't know. What the odds will be.
I think he throws at least one for sure.
Yeah, it's probably a good bet.
Darius Slay's been playing pretty well, so I think he finds the football again.
Raiders at Titans. Raiders favored on the road by 1.5.
Yep, I like the Raiders in this situation, and I got the line at 2, and I like them at 2.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders too. I think that the Titans just stink.
Is that a 1:00 game?
Yeah, that's a 1. These are all 1:00 games.
Yeah, those West Coast teams playing 1:00 games on Sundays, I don't like to take often, but in this situation, I think the Raiders just have more firepower. So
yeah, the Raiders are just better.
Lean Raiders minus, at least my line's -2.
Texans at Bears. Big who cares around this game, right? Bears laying 2.5 at home. We're not betting this nonsense, are we?
Nope.
Let's stay away from that one. Bengals at Jets. Bengals laying 5.5 on the road. This is probably my favorite teaser leg of the week because if the Bengals lose to the Jets, Joe Burrow is probably going to retire. There's no way that they lose this game to the Jets, right? So you take them from laying 5.5 down to catching a half point. They're going to win, right?
Yeah,
they have to.
I don't like this line at all. So I would tease it for the team that you think is going to win, which should be the Bengals. I mean, the Jets stole one last week at Cleveland, absolutely stole one. I still don't know what happened. But I would throw this game into a teaser too. I think the Bengals cracked the win column for the first time. But just I'm staying away from this game completely unless I throw it in a teaser.
Yeah, I'm definitely teasing the Bengals. I'm not taking the line on that one. All right, a couple more. We're getting into the 4:00 games. Falcons at Seahawks. Seahawks -1.5 at home. I am probably taking the Falcons money line in this one at +112, baby. What do you think?
I don't like the Falcons on the road, but I do think there's going to be points scored in this game. I think they hit the over 42.
Yeah, I got it at 41.5. I could see this one going over. The Falcons are scoring a lot of points. I don't trust Geno Smith at all. Aside from the first half in Denver, he has been terrible. So I'm taking the Falcons at least catching 1.5. Jags at Chargers. This one's kind of intriguing. Jags are catching 7 at the Chargers, but it's not really a home game for the Chargers, right? They don't have any home games. So the Chargers laying a touchdown. Are you doing it?
No, I'm actually looking at the total here. I'm on the under in this game, 47.5.
Under 47.5. Okay, really? I think those are pretty high-powered offenses. I would I'm probably not betting this one at all. I'm not going to bet the Jaguars. If I was going to bet the side, I'd have to be forced into the Chargers -7. Gets below 7. I like it a lot more. 47.5 is an interesting total. If it stays above 47.5, I could see it going under. So I don't hate that either. Rams at Cardinals, another division game. Rams laying 3.5.
Again, another total I'm looking at. I do not
We're
like
all over the totals.
I don't like the spreads at all this week. I think it's more favorable, and I'm on the under train again in this at 48 and a half.
Under 48 and a half. Okay. I'm definitely not betting on the Cardinals. Don't know if you watched any of that Raiders Cardinals game. The Cardinals offense is inept. I know they won that game. There's no way they should have won that game.
Correct.
Kyler has the most insane plays I've ever seen. He doesn't care. Like, he's incredible on the field, but he like doesn't even react. I'm not like betting on this guy ever.
I'm seeing this game like I'm predicting it like a 24-20 Rams win.
I mean, these games usually are under the Rams games.
Correct. And I think 48 and a half is a lot, especially with what you just saying, the Cardinals offense being so sporadic. They still don't have DeAndre Hopkins back, and now they're going up against Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, which is going to pose a big test for them to score points consistently. I think the under hits hopefully comfortably, but all my picks seem to be sweating out every single game. So it's probably going to be down to the last possession.
Quick lean in this one. If you do want to bet the over, maybe wait till halftime, because the Cardinals, I think, have only scored 7 points in the first half of these two games because they don't have a game script. It's all the same thing I've been saying for 2 years. Kyler throwing shit in the wall, and he's good enough to make some of it stick. So maybe that total gets down to the 42 mark around halftime. So maybe look for it there. Niners at Broncos. Niners laying 1.5 on the road. Let's go, Jimmy. -1.5, baby.
Yep. I'm on that
Jimmy,
side.
obviously better than Trey Lance. We feel bad for Trey Lance, but I'm taking the Niners in this spot. That's all the games we got this week. That's the whole slate. So we don't love a lot of these spreads. We'll post our locks tomorrow or Friday. So look out for those.
I think what we should do is we should post our picks for tomorrow separately, and then throw our weekend locks in on Friday.
All right, yeah, let's do that. So we'll post some picks for tomorrow night. I already got a sweet same game parlay out there on the Twitter. Check that out. And we'll post our locks on Friday. You had some college stuff you wanted to hit on.
Yeah, I mean, after Labor Day weekend where I got off to a hot start, I kind of came back down to earth. We're back to 500 at 13-13 through 3 weeks of college football. I'm not too thrilled about that. I thought I had some good picks last week that fell either half a point short or possession short, or the game went to overtime. And when you had the under, the over hits by a game-winning field goal by a point. So a lot of close losses, but got some interesting plays this weekend. Again, I do not like betting on Penn State football, but they have been, over the last 4 years, the best team in the country against the spread in the month of September. Last I checked, the calendar this Saturday will still be September. They are giving 28 points to Central Michigan after a big win against Auburn. I think they're going to be throwing a lot of guys in and out. Guys got a lot of confidence across the board. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I think the defense is starting to fly around, and people are starting to see how athletic of a team they are. I think they cover this. I think they win this game 35 or more. So 28 is a good number for them. Thursday night game. We got West Virginia at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is getting +1.5 at home. It's going to be a rowdy environment against a relative rival, neighboring state rival. I like Virginia Tech to win this game outright at home as a +1.5 underdog. So I'm looking at the money line there. And then another home underdog in a big time game. It's Wake Forest getting 7 points at home against Clemson. I've watched Clemson a few times this year. They have not looked great. They are going to be tested in a tough, true road environment at Wake Forest. Wake's got a quarterback that can sling the ball around. I would look for Wake Forest to keep this game very close, if not win it outright. But getting them at +7 is a great deal on there. And I'm looking also at Kent State, Georgia, under 62 points. Georgia has been a juggernaut all season. They have held, I don't think they've given up more than 3 points in a game. I don't think they will get to 62 by themselves. So I'm looking at the under there. I think they win this game like 49-3.
Wow. Okay.
I don't see Georgia scoring 62 plus points to cover this over by themselves. And another home dog to look at, Michigan State is getting 3 points at home against Minnesota looking to win the Big Ten West this year. But they're going into a tough environment. Michigan State looking to bounce back after a tough loss at Washington last week. Again, I think a home underdog here in this situation. Michigan State could win this game outright, but you're getting them at +3, so that's a steal. And then arguably my favorite pick of the weekend from a college football standpoint, we have our lowest point total in I don't know how long in a college football game. Right now, Iowa and Rutgers, and I know you have not looked at this spread. So take a guess at what the current line I am getting at the over-under is in Iowa Rutgers.
Iowa, like the game total?
The game total.
Oh my God, I'd have no idea. So college, what are they usually higher than the NFL totals?
Yes.
If you're saying it's the lowest, what are we looking at? 40.5?
You are not even close.
Lower?
34 points right now is the total.
34. Wow. Okay.
And I don't want to give it as a lock of the year yet. I'm still doing some research.
I was just going to ask, are we giving this lock of the year 2022?
I do not want to give
blow
it
your lock this year.
I don't want to give it in week 4 of 2 mediocre Big Ten teams at best in the lowest under in college football history, possibly when lines started becoming a thing.
Wow.
But
okay.
I am leaning the under in this game.
What are you leaning? You're leaning under.
Oh yeah. Iowa is non-existent on offense, like literally non-existent on offense. And they're on the road at Rutgers. Rutgers is not very good on offense either. Iowa's defense is very, very good. This game could be 10-7.
Wow. Okay. So
And
he's thinking it goes way under.
I honestly would love to see this game below under 30. I think it would be an absolutely hilarious line if this game got to under 30 points.
Why don't we alt it? Why don't we take alt under 28.5 or something?
If that's a possibility, if we can find that in a college football
Yeah,
game,
of course we can. Yeah.
why not throw a little shekels on that and see what happens? But there will not be a lot of points scored in this game, if any. Honestly, I would love it to be 2-0.
I love the conviction on that. I didn't know. Yeah. All right. So Burke's gonna tweet those out. That might be his lock of the year. Stay tuned. We'll find out. See if he can break the curse. I didn't know any of those lines. I should have asked Joe. He might have known. I think Joe knew. But anyways, sorry, I had to throw it in there. Burke will tweet out all his college picks for the weekend. He'll give you, we're going to get back on track this week for sure. The NFL picks we're going to get up today and tomorrow. I think that's it. Anything else you wanted to close with?
No, we're looking to get back on track with college football, and hopefully we'll get more consistent schedule for the fans with a weekly recording. I know we've been kind of sporadic, but our schedules have not aligned, but we are trying to do our best we can to make this a regular weekly occurrence like we did last season. But keep following our Twitter. We post picks, leans, suggestions, what we're seeing, answer questions you may have if we're not recording. So we're always looking at our phones. We're always seeing the latest and greatest lines and trying to help everybody win as much money as possible.
That's it, my man. Yeah, we've been pretty active on the Twitter. We'll try to keep up these episodes. We're definitely posting pics, almost every day. I'm trying to go live and do some tidbits on there. You got to hop on the Twitter live and do some insight for us, man, during the week. I like getting those little videos out there. Let's get some college insight going. But until next time, appreciate everybody listening. Check the Twitter for our picks. Let's go make some money, my friends.